tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make two different designs of rustic looking vases. These are the supplies needed to make the rustic milk jar vase. Jar, tape, any chalky finish paint, a paintbrush, twine, a glue gun, and sandpaper. First, you're going to want to take your tape and put it all the way around the bottle at whatever level you want the paint to go up to. One thing you need to make sure to do though is to press down on the sides, otherwise the paint will seep up underneath the tape. Now you can go ahead and start your first layer of paint, just taking a thin coat and applying it everywhere underneath your tape line. So wait about 15 minutes and make sure that your jar is completely dry from the first coat, and then you're going to go ahead and add the second coat, just making it again a thin layer underneath the tape line. So once both coats have fully dried, go ahead and gently take off the tape. Now you can go ahead and measure how much twine you're going to need by wrapping it around the lip of the jar as many times as you think looks good. Okay, so to hold the string in place, go ahead begin by putting a little dot of glue using your glue gun onto the lip of the jar, and then put the starting end of the strand on that little dot of glue. Then you can go ahead and wrap your string around the lip of the jar. It doesn't have to be completely straight or anything. I'm kind of going for a haphazard look, but you can do whatever you think looks good. So once you reach the end of your string, go ahead and grab your glue gun and just put another little dot and then put the end right on top of it, making sure not to burn your fingers. And you can kind of try to tuck it in the other strands so it's not so noticeable. And then I kind of just went over readjusting the string, so if they saw any gaps or anything, I kind of moved the string around to make it look good. So you can actually end it right here if you like this look, but I'm going to show you an optional thing you can do to make it look more rustic. Go ahead and grab your sandpaper and start scratching away at the paint to get that kind of distressed rustic look. I like to go over where the bumps of the design are and on the sides of the jar, because I think that's where naturally paint would have chipped if this really was an old vintage milk jar. Here is a close-up of the finished look, and full disclosure, I saw this on display at my local craft store, so I didn't come up with this design, but I thought it was so stinking cute, I decided to go home and make it. Here are the supplies needed to make the mason jar vase. A jar, any chalky finish paint, a paintbrush, twine, scissors, and sandpaper. To begin, go ahead and get some paint and just apply a thin coat all over the mason jar. Then, once that first coat is dried, go ahead and do the same thing for the second coat. Apply a thin layer all over the mason jar again. Then, once both coats are completely dried, go ahead and get your sandpaper and start scratching away at the paint to get that rustic look. Again, I usually like to do around the sides and on the raised parts of the jar because I think that's naturally where paint would have chipped if it really was a vintage jar. Okay, so lastly, just go ahead and grab your twine and just tie it in a bow around the lip of the jar and cut off any loose ends, and you're done. So here is the final look once you add some flowers to your rustic mason jar vase. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and thank you so much for watching.